This is Barry with Father Seekers. This is FatherFuel. This is leadership. So, you think you're not a leader. I want to give you a statistic. The most normal, regular guy in the history of the world who's introverted, who goes to work, comes home, mows grass, hangs with the kids, works the same job for 40 years and retires. Did you know that that guy has influenced over 10,000 people in his lifetime, either short term, long time, or initially influenced them? Influence means leadership. John Maxwell, one of my favorite leadership guys, says leadership is influence. So if influence is leadership, aren't we all leaders? Now, some people say no, some people reject the idea of being a leader, but I might also say that they're off in their interpretation and definition. Let's break it down to the basic level. If you're a dad or a husband or a brother or a friend to other men and other people, you're a leader. People look to you. They may check you off because you've not been leading in the past, but that is in itself leadership. Not leading is leadership. We are all leaders. The question is, how do we lead and how deep is our influence? I want to talk to you about, and again, PDF, click the button below. You can download this. This is all yours. I've listed 10 different people here in the scriptures who were what I call second chair leaders. They supported a primary leader. They learned from the primary leader. They became comfortable with leadership under a primary leader. And they understood that regardless of the struggle or the difficulty in becoming a leader, they understood that leadership was important and it was a specific call to lead. Now, an insight here is that none of us can lead on our own. In other words, we all need other people around us to help us lead. You've heard me say it 100 times that I have guys surrounding me, and likewise I surround them, and we work together. We hold each other accountable. We refine and define our leadership skills together with each other, but with our families, more importantly, and where we work. Now, here's what I want you to understand. I want you to grab this. You may not feel comfortable at being the leader, but you are the leader in your home. And you may not feel comfortable as though you know enough about leadership where you can lead confidently and with strength in your home. But you know what? There's a way to learn leadership and still remain a leader. It doesn't mean that you're second best or you are less than good enough to be the main leader, because there are places in your life that you are the main leader. And one of those places, number one, is your life. If you don't lead yourself, you won't be able to lead other people. The second place that you're a leader is in your family. If you have a family, you are the leader in that home. You set the pace, regardless of what you do. You either are an active or a passive leader. Men are designed to lead their homes, their children, their wives, to lead in the community, to lead in their religious setting, their church, in the brothers that they walk with. We're designed to be leaders. Now, included in the PDF, if you click the button below, it's a download, free download. I've listed 10 of the primary leaders in Scripture that were second chair leaders. Now you say second chair, does that mean they were less than? No, I've already said they weren't. And I want you to grab that, because most of these guys who were in second chair position leaders were there by force, as it appeared to be in the infancy of their leadership. It seemed like they were forced into it. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, you feel forced into being a leader. You know what? I got it. I really do. But what I want you to understand is it's important for you to grab hold of this idea that you're a leader. You have to do that. You may feel uncomfortable, like me. You may feel like that being an introvert, you don't want to exert your position over others to lead well. Being a disciple is being a leader, and we have to learn the leadership skill sets. I want to point out a couple of these guys to you, and I want you to, and what I've done is I've listed the person, where they're found in scripture, their accomplishments, the leadership lessons that we can learn from their lives, and how can we apply those particular lessons that person that we look at has given us. I want you to grab hold of this and look at, because we don't, like being a disciple, we have to be called to discipleship. We have to be invited to follow. And you may not have in your life someone who you could say, hey, I need to be a better leader. Teach me how to be a leader. I want to lead. Tell me how to lead. Um, the first start with that is to get some knowledge about yourself and what type of leader you are. And then in doing that, you'll find some of the weaknesses in your life, and you'll begin to identify the weak areas that you need to build up in to become a more effective leader. Uh, One of the things that I noticed throughout each one of these people that I've mentioned is that they were pulled out of obscurity into leadership. In other words, there was something that they were not at the forefront to be a leader. They were in background. They were pulled forward. They were pulled out of secret places to be a leader. Uh, when God puts us under a good leader, He puts us under a leader that's going to help us, form us, and become the leader. Now, sometimes um, we may not feel qualified, and sometimes we may feel disqualified because of decisions we've made in the past. But I want you to understand that if you feel like you're a leader nowhere else except your home, that, my friend, is quite a noble call. Now, you are more of a leader in other places. You are leaders not only at home, in your personal life, your wife's life, your kids' lives, at work, in your community, but you offer influence wherever you are. Again, we're not to be flies on the wall as godly men. We're to be leaders. There are people on this list, and by the way, this list is not exhaustive at all. But these people on this list were some of them were no-name people. Some of them didn't come from a bloodline that would make them leaders naturally. Some of them, um, quite frankly, would still be in the shadows had God not called them out of the shadows and brought them out. And I think we push back sometimes on God when he calls us into leadership. What I want you to do is I want you to download this PDF and I want you to look at second chair leaders. Maybe that will be the step you need to study their lives and you learn about leadership from second chair. Find a good leader who you can learn from and become a great leader yourself. This is Barry with Father Seekers. This is FatherFuel. This is leadership.